Hello crafty people, it's Sharon here, and I'm back today with another card from my quick to make and batch making series, and I'm also very pleased to be participating in the Crafting Together with All Brands vlog hop, for which the theme this month is red, white and gold. So for my card today, I've chosen to use a lovely Woodware stamp created by Francoise Reed, and this is the stamp. As you can see, it's perfectly set up to make a DL card and features all these beautiful mittens and a cute little robin. And if anybody is interested, this one is called Winter Mittens, and Woodware is part of the Creative Expressions brand. Now, I started beforehand by creating a DL card base, and it's very easy to do from an A4 sheet of card. You basically measure 20 centimeters along the long side and cut there, and then score at 10 centimeters, which will give you a card measuring 21 centimeters across and 10 in width. I then made some mats and layers using gold and red at 5mm increments, so I just reduced the sizes, and then I used the spare bit of card from my original piece of white card to create this mat, and which I put my stamping onto. Now, I've already gone ahead and stamped my image. I'm colouring in alcohol pens today, so I used a memento pad to stamp my image, and I used a VersaFine Clair in black to stamp my sentiment so that it comes out as crisp as possible. Now, as you can see, I've already made and applied masks to all of my mittens and my robin. I'm just going to lift one of these off quickly so that I can show you how to apply it, just in case you haven't done this before. And the reason we're doing this is to keep the mittens white whilst we add ink all around them. So I'm just going to zoom in quickly, move my image across. Now, this is the mask, and as you can see, they're reusable. I've used mine before. You can create your mask from any type of sticky mask paper that you might have, perhaps a post-it note. And basically what you do is you stamp your image onto that paper, and then you cut all around the edge, making sure that you cut on the outside line, not outside of the outside line, and then you'll have a perfect mirror image, or a perfect image of your original stamp. We then apply it, and I'm going to put my peg in first to just get things in position, and then press down to stick it to your card, and we're then ready to go. So I'm just going to quickly zoom out again so you can see the whole card. So sorry about that, not doing very well with my zooming today. A little bit more, there we go. So it will be a bit small, but I just want you to see the inking process that we're going to do next. So for my inking, I'm going to make a blue snowy background around the edge of my card, as you would have seen. I'm going to use initially an Elements ink pad, which is from Lavinia Stamps, and it's called Blue Atoll. It's a nice frosty blue. So these can be quite juicy. So I've got a bit of spare card to the side of me just to dab off any excess. But what I'm going to do is dip into my ink pad, dab off to the side on my lid. I'm just double checking on my piece of scrap card, and then I'm just holding my brush very far away and lightly brushing all around. I'm sorry if you can hear some noise outside. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but hopefully that will stop in a moment. So as you can see, I'm using round circular motions. I'm not getting a perfect blend, but I'm not worried about that because I'm enjoying a bit of texture in the sky. And I'm just working my way around. And I did make a smudge at the top there, so I'm just going to add some more up there. And just be mindful that you can lift these masks, particularly in the small areas, so just be careful around those, and if any start to lift, just give them a little press down again. Where you can, try and work away from the skinny fiddly bits. So I'm also just picking up, oopsie, there we go. I'm just picking some up from my lid as well. Now, there we go. Next I'm going to go in with a darker colour to add a little bit of contrast, and for that I'm using a Distress ink in Prize Ribbon, and I've got a smaller brush this time, and I'm just picking up some of that ink, dabbing off the excess and just adding here and there. And I'm actually going in quite heavy. Each one will be different that you do. But it looks a bit messy initially. But we're going to add some snow in a moment, and that will make a world of difference. Add some lovely texture. I've got a little bit that keeps lifting on the end there, but I'm sure it'll be fine. There we go. Now I have got a blob at the top here, so I'm just going to spend a moment to try and lift that, because it's right at the edge and that's not what I want. So I've taken a wet brush, sorry, and I'm just scribbling that around and using a kitchen towel just to lift that, and that's got rid of the worst of that, which will make it look a lot better. And then the next thing I'm going to do is add my snow. So I've got a fan brush and I've just dipped it into plain water, and I'm tapping all over. Not worrying about my masks or anything like that. I'm just tapping away with my water. I might just get a little bit more because I want it to be a bit of a blizzard. There we go. And then using a kitchen towel, I'm just going to place it over the top and wipe. And then all of a sudden, don't know if you can see that very well, we will have little spots of snow appearing. And you can do that again if you want to add some more. I'm going to maybe put some just down below the mittens, so just another little bit of tapping. And you can either leave it a second or two to settle, or just pick it up straight away. And there we have our snowstorm. So that's our inking done. The next bit I always think is quite exciting, and that's the reveal of our image. So I'm going to pull off each of my masks. I'm using a little pokey tool to pick them up and pull them away. And you'll see that we have a lovely image. I have got the odd little bit where I've lifted my mask, but we won't worry about that too much. Here comes glove number 3. And I'm putting them back on my stamp packaging so that I can use them again another time. Now I have rushed this a little bit for the sake of the demo, so I have got a bit of bleed through, but if we're going over with a dark colour, it really doesn't matter. The only bit that might need a little bit of attention is the areas that are going to be white. So I'm just going to do the same technique, take a wet brush, put water over that offending area and just dab up. Trying to remember which bits I'm leaving white, and it will take most, if not all, of that ink away. So once we're finished, you won't even notice it. There we go. And now we're ready to get on with our colouring. So I've got 3 different types of gloves here. What I'm going to do is show you one of each glove, and then I'll go away and colour the rest so you can see the final result. A good tip to always remember when you're using alcohol pens is to put a piece of paper underneath your image so that the ink will actually sink through your card. You don't want it to bounce back up from the glass, so this paper just provides a little bit of cushioning. For my colouring, I'm using a selection of tri-blend pens, but of course you can use any alcohol pens that you wish, or you could use another medium entirely. It's really up to you. Just make sure that your ink matches the type of colouring medium that you're going to use. Okay, let's zoom in again. And let's start with our little red robin. Now these are the design of these is you know, simple and untroubled, I'd like to say. So again, we're going to go simple with our colouring, and so I have got a tri-blend pen which is earth brown blend. It's got a light, medium and dark. I'm using my light colour to just give his body and his wings a nice layer of colour. And again, if you change your type of ink that you stamp with, you could do this as a watercolour, you could use pencils or anything else that you've got to hand, so which is really nice. I'm now going to go to my darker colour and add some shade, just using the dark dotted line, the dark dots as a guideline, because that's where the shade's intended to be. And then I'm just going to go to my mid shade and blend out, just to give him a little softer, rounder appearance. And with characters, we always try to keep the palest part near their eyes. That enhances their eyes and just makes them look a bit more friendly and welcoming. There we go. So I also have an orange here, which I happen to pick off Orange Blend. I'm just going to give him a little beak. And I have got a red pen, which is dark red blend. I'm going to use that to do his little red breast, and this is the same red pen that I'm going to be using to colour my gloves in as well. So as you can see, I'm trying to use not too many pens if I can help it. So I've done light and then dark. The darkest ones on the edges. I'm not bothering with the mid-tone, and then just giving a quick blend, and that's one robin done and dusted. I'm then going to go and just do my pegs quickly because they're nice and easy. So going back to my earth brown blend, I will colour in the lightest tone, and then I'm going to go to my mid-tone and just put a bit of a low light on the side there, and I'm not even going to give that a blend. And now we're ready to go on to the first glove. So I've used my red pen, and again, I'm very simply going to take my lightest colour and colour the whole glove, apart from the heart and the furry edge. There we have it. Now you could just leave that colouring like that, or you could add a bit of shade using the darkest colour, just adding a shadow under the furry area and a little bit of shade on the edges to sort of signify a little bit of roundness. And all I'm doing is drawing roughly around the edges. And then I'm going to go back to my pale one just to do little tiny circles at the edge of the dark area, which will just soften it out a little bit. I've then got a grey one. Now this one happens to be a brush pen, but it was just what I had to hand. It's still a tri-blend, and I'm using the colour IG2, and I'm going to use that to add some little flicks of shadow on my furry part of my glove. And then I've got a blending pen, which is basically clear alcohol ink, and I'm just rubbing on the edges of that just to soften that down a little bit. And the final part for this glove is that I'm going to create a sparkly gold heart in the middle, and for that I'm using a sparkle pen. This one happens to be a Pentel one, and it's called a dual metallic hybrid, and these are really quite nice. So when you colour with them, you'll see that they are enormously sparkly, but I would suggest to leave this bit to last as a rule, because it does take a little while for this ink to dry. But I'm just putting it down so you can get the idea, and you can see actually on there, look at that sparkle. I found mine on Amazon, if anybody's interested. It was a pack of about 8 of them, I think, all different colours, and they really are lovely. Okay, let's move on to glove type number 2. This one, I'm going to have the middle white and then have the cuffs red and the little fingertip area. So I'm going to take my red pen again and follow the same process. So I am colouring in my lightest colour the cuff, and this is very easy to do. And I'm just going to jump down to the bottom and do the fingertips at the same time. And then I'm going to flip over to my dark pen, and I'm imagining that it's curving away from me, you know, like a round glove, and I'm just adding some little bit of shadow where I think it might belong, just with some lines. And then on the bottom here, much like the robin's redbreast, I'm just bringing in some dark from the side and flicking it towards the middle of the glove, and I'm going to blend that out just slightly. I'm not going to blend the top here because it doesn't really need it. I've just added some indicating lines really. I'm going to add some green to my tree because I want it to look green rather than black and white. So I've picked my jade green blend, and I'm taking my darkest colour and I'm just going over those lines exactly as they are with a bit of green. Now I'm going to go back to my grey, and because this is a white area, I'm going to add some shading again. So once again, I'm going to draw down the side with my IG2, draw down the side there, give a little bit of shade, and I'm just going to use my blending pen once again to scribble at the edges, just as we would if we were blending with another colour, and that will just soften those lines so that they fade out into the glove. And then finally, I have picked a little blue pen, and I'm going to just add some blue snowflakes using Ice Blue Blend, the lightest colour IB1, and I'm sort of using these dots as indicators, but I'm going to add some extra ones as well. There we go. And that will give the feeling of some snow. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Holly and berries. Now for the holly, for the berries, I have inked, as you can see, over those. So what I'm doing is I'm picking an orange, which is the darkest orange on my orange blend pen, and just adding that in like that, which does give them sort of a reddish appearance, but a slightly different red to the gloves. I'm then going back to my jade green tri-blend, and I'm going to give them a complete colour with the lightest colour. I'm doing holly leaves, which are dark in the middle and paler at the edge. And then flipping to my darkest colour, and I'm just going to do little gentle scribbles down the middle, just to give that feeling of darkness in the middle. So no great skill required here, and you can do some extra little flicks if you just want to make them a bit more pointy. And I have got a green version of these Pentel pens, so what you can do also is go in there and add some little flicks, which when that dries will give a little bit of sparkle and a little bit of variation to those leaves. I think you can just about start to see the sparkle appearing. And then we're on to the final glove. And once again, this is much the same technique. I'm going to go with my red and pick my palest colour, and colour all the red areas in one go. So this one, I'm having a red glove with a white cuff and a gold stripe in the middle. And I'm going to go straight over the snowflake, no worries there because that's stamped in black. And we follow the exact same technique again. So I'm using my darkest colour now. I'm going to add some shade under that cuff, around the thumb, and on my main glove. You don't have to go all the way to the edge with that shade, it's really up to you. So I'm just going to go over that dark bit again, and then back to my pale colour, just to soften those edges. I'm so sorry, that just disappeared, didn't it, off of the screen. There we go. Now I'm going to go back to my grey and make my little highlights on my cuff once again. and blend those out so they will soften as they dry and give more of a fluffy look. And then back to my gold pen, I'm going to colour the stripe, which will come out lovely sparkly and golden. And then I'm just going to add gold to the tips of my snowflake, just to give it a little bit of sparkle and make it just stick out a little bit. And there we have the third glove. So I'm just going to zoom out again, and you can see each of those gloves. I'm now going to just go ahead and finish off colouring my gloves, and then we'll be back to finish the card. So here we are back with my finished colouring, and as you can see, all of my mittens are now coloured in using the same technique that I showed you earlier. And now it's simply a case of mounting this onto our card. So I've pre-prepared my card and cut my DL card, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, my gold mat, my red mat, and all that's left to do is to stick this on the top, which we're going to do now. So as you can see, this is something that would be really easy to batch make, sitting watching TV of an evening. Just cut your card to shape and stamp it all. Then you can do all of your inking, perhaps at your craft desk, and then sit in front of the TV, colouring in all those lovely mittens in whatever colours you choose before mounting them onto your final card. A lovely, relaxing little bit of craft in there, I think. So there we go. I'm just trying to position my mittens. Just a little bit of glue there. Get rid of that. And I'll bring in my original. And there we have it. Two beautiful, almost identical, but always slightly different because it's handcrafted, winter mittens Christmas cards. I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you like what you see, I'd love it if you would subscribe to me. I appreciate every one of my subscribers, and of course you'll then be able to see 30 plus other videos that I have created so far using different colouring techniques and things that you might find useful. So please do visit me, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.